Hello, this is Flurry Moon. Welcome back to my channel. A few months ago, I made a deep dive into the Hamtaro franchise. We discussed a lot in that video, and it is still one of my longest scripted videos on my entire channel, and I definitely summoned a lot of loyal Hamtaro fans, which was exactly what I was hoping for. At the very end of that video, I did a section called The Obscure Side of Hamtaro, but by the end of that video, I frankly was so done. And I just picked out a few that I thought were interesting, but I knew I was saving a bunch of topics for another time. Well, it's another time. So let's get into the obscure side of Hamtaro. But before anything, if I were you guys, I would wait till the end of this video because if you guys remember from last time, I opened the cutest robotic cat ever. I still have him right here. I love him so much. It's actually concerning. This time I'm opening a kitty backpack and you guys, it's insane. I can't wait to use this thing out in public, but more on that later. Here's the timestamp to go there. Next, before we begin, I need to give a huge shout out to the user Terracotta, who I did also mention last time, but this user is the creator of the Hamtaro iceberg and that entire Google document, which I quite literally wouldn't be able to make this video without. I would say most of the topics we will be discussing are involved in that iceberg, but I won't be going through it in its entirety. I want you guys to go over to this user and check it out because it's really awesome. There are a few topics in this video that have nothing to do with that though, so let's just get right into it. In the last video, we discussed the franchise's use of Hamchat, both in the anime and the iconic Hamtaro games. This is the language the Hamhams use to communicate with each other, and it plays a massive role in Hamhams Unite for the Game Boy Color and Hamham Heartbreak for the Game Boy Advance. In these entries, you collect Hamchat phrases by completing various tasks that, in turn, will help you later on in the game to progress through the story. For example, in Hamhams Unite, you acquire the term tac cue early in the game, which allows you to roll into various objects. Each Hamchat phrase comes with a translation, as well as a special animation Hamtaro will perform each time it is used. Another example, hif hif means sniff, and the animation shows Hamtaro sniffing the air. This action will help you sniff out things or pick up a sunflower seed, so you definitely are gonna need it. However, as mentioned last time, a few different phrases and animations had to be changed, most of them due to localization purposes. However, there was one Hamchat animation that had to be changed due to looking extremely inappropriate. The phrase would be wait cue, meaning wait. The animation was changed to show Hamtaro tapping his foot impatiently. The original, however, portrayed Hamtaro drawing in the sand, but as we mentioned last time, it supposedly ended up looking like he was making a gesture of some sort, is all I'm gonna say. When researching, I could only ever find the description of this animation and never the actual clip or even screenshot. This was driving me insane. I needed to see it. I really needed to see if it was as bad as they thought, you know? However, not long after uploading, I got an email from a user named Ash. I would love to tell you guys their YouTube channel, but I don't know their YouTube channel. They might still be here, so what's up? Love you. Thank you so much for this. This user, who was super freaking cool by the way, provided me with a link to the original 2001 wait cue animation in this random YouTube video that was only posted 3 years ago. The animation happens at around 42 seconds and they weren't kidding, it doesn't look great. I'm not sure exactly how much I can show of it. It's nothing explicit, it just looks a little wrong, but if you're super interested, you could go watch. But it's really not all that bad, but definitely I understand why they changed it. I was so happy to finally see this, and Ash also linked me to the official Nintendo site for the 2001 game with the still animation picture as well. However, something I didn't know until further research that I've actually never really seen anyone point out, but I might just be missing it. There was another Hamchat animation that was changed for the very same reason. In fact, this one might even be worse, if that's possible. Ham Solo, which means lonely. Do you see where this is going? In the original Japanese release shows Hamtaro sitting and drawing in the sand, this time with a sad look on his face. So it's pretty much like the last animation, but with Hamtaro looking sad and lonely. This was perceived the same way as Wait Q, but it's even funnier because this was also changed because drawing in the sand or dirt is used more in Japanese media to portray a character feeling bored or lonely, so it ended up just being changed to a really sad crying animation, which honestly, I'm like, what the hell? That is so freaking sad. This will be a bit of a shorter entry, but I decided I wanted to talk about it. Like last time, we discussed the iconic epic Hamtaro figures as well as the knockoff XLC figures, which are still very loved in the community despite being off-brand. For the most part, the Hamtaro figures we all know and love are small with a hard rubber-like texture with holes underneath them almost to act as pencil toppers, and I totally forgot. Since the last video, I got some and I need to show you. This is Dexter, and I actually ended up getting 3 Dexters. They're definitely plotting something together. So cute, and like I said, they have the little holes underneath. My favorite little girl, Bijou. Very cute. We also have Panda, who we will be talking about in this section, so you can see what the official epic Hamtaro Panda looks like. So they all have like labels on them. We also have Snoozer, who lays down, Cappy, Howdy, and why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, these figures have been documented by the community as best they can, but there are bound to be more obscure releases and even some unidentified ones as well. That leads us to our post made just 5 days ago in the Hamtaro subreddit by the user temporary_method_212. Who made this panda? Hi, I have a sizable collection of XLC figurines and some epic, and just received this panda figurine with no branding. I found this other listing, last pick, showing panda with others from the same set. Hamtaro wiki hasn't been of help. Anyone know the origin of this guy? Now, this isn't that weird, as it could easily just be a bootleg figure, but I'm still definitely curious as to where it came from in the first place, as the XLC figures are technically bootlegs as well of the epic figurines, yet fans still adore them and continue to collect them anyway, and it does not seem like this is a part of the XLC or epic collections, especially as a comment here explained how odd and unique it is to see one of these toys in a crawling pose, as typically they sit upright. In the last photo added to the thread, the user shows off the entire set that supposedly matched the panda figure, as none of them have branding and they clearly look very similar, almost with messier painting than any other Hamtaro figurine that I've seen. With that, I think they're adorable, and hopefully we can get some answers soon. Manor is a location in the Game Boy Advance's Ham Ham Heartbreak. This is described as one of the spookier locations in the series, as the franchise doesn't often go down the creepy route. A couple different aspects of Boo Manor that scared kids back in the day were the ghosts as well as the music. The ghosts themselves are transparent blue hamsters with red eyes that, in my opinion, are not really that scary. However, most people playing were children, so I can totally see why this would totally make me run away screaming, crying, and throwing up, so I totally get it. And I also never played Heartbreak as a kid. I was a Ham Hams Unite girl. However, I am still dying to play this effing game. One thing that I guess is a little off-putting about them is the fact that they let out this shriek when you hit them during one of the quests, and I can see why children wouldn't like that very much. The Boo Manor music also scared children. I'm not sure if I can play it here, but I will link it like first thing in the description. I honestly think it kind of slaps. However, the song has a few stereotypical ghosts like ooh. Yeah, that's my ghost, ooh. But towards the end, that sound effect is switched out for like a human tortured moan, which I don't really appreciate, so that is kind of scary to me. Sometimes the lost media we're looking for doesn't actually exist. In some cases, random people who are bored with their lives decide to spice things up by sending the entire internet on a wild goose chase for something they damn well know does not exist. In this case of lost media turning out to be a hoax, I genuinely think there was just some honest confusion about this lost episode though. The Warm Scarf Capade is a quote-unquote lost Hamtaro episode from season 4 of the anime that had remained a mystery for quite some time. This theory began when the Warm Scarf Capade title was listed on a Malaysian season 3 box set of the anime. So for years, fans were confused. However, this actually ended up being an alternate title to the episode The Knitting Craze. This definitely goes to show how easily a slight change in translation can leave fans confused, thinking they're missing out on a mystery episode of their favorite anime. At least this has been solved and Hamtaro fans can sleep at night peacefully knowing there is no lost episode of the Hamtaro anime, I think. The Ham Ham's Rescue Stan is a bonus episode included at the end of the OVA special, Ham Ham Games. This isn't just a regular new episode though, but an edited version of an already previously existing episode entitled Clubhouse Intruders. Supposedly the only difference between the episodes was that in the Ham Ham's Rescue Stan, almost all of the humans were cut from the episode. As far as I know, we have no idea why this choice was made, and I'm not okay with that. Like, what do you mean? It's clearly the same episode, so the different names make no sense to me, and I have no idea why humans would be taken out of this episode, as I haven't seen the whole anime, but from watching the first like 20 or so episodes, humans are like a decently big part of the show. I feel like there's at least one human an episode, am I wrong? I don't know. But it does get weirder. There is one singular frame with a human in it. Why? This is absolutely mind-boggling to me, because if they were gonna go through the trouble of taking out all the human scenes, why leave just one? Obviously, this isn't a big deal. Like, nobody cares. And I'm sure there is a valid reason for this that I'm sure someone in the comments is gonna be like, you dumb bitch, obviously it's blank. But until then, this will haunt me at night. You can count on that. The Cutting Room Floor is a website that compiles cut content for video games such as unused music, text, graphics, and all kinds of other extremely interesting pieces of media that I highly recommend looking into. This site has done research into the Hamtaro game franchise, so I thought it would be fun to take a look at some obscure content that we never got to see. Such as, if you don't remember from my last video, the Titanic cutscene of Hamtaro and Bijou doing the I'm flying pose, along with an unused song, most likely imitating My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. I don't know if we know why this scene was cut, but I'm sure it had to do with copyright. Like, I don't think they could just do that. So maybe there was an issue with that. I don't know, but I think this scene is really cute. But anyway, we talked about that last time, but I didn't talk about the song attached to it. That, once again, I will leave in the description, but I don't know how much I can play audio-wise for you guys. Honestly, I've been doing this way too long to not know a thing about copyright. I don't know. Another interesting little tidbit is on the back wall of each boutique store in Ham Ham's Unite, there is an unseen sign written in katakana, along with two little sunflowers on each side. This sign would never be seen, since the game's screen does not pan up high enough for the player to ever get to see it. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if they made that knowing nobody would see it, or if they thought we would, and there was some type of miscommunication. In Hamtaro Ham Ham Games, a big part of the gameplay is collecting costumes. These are the items the Ham Hams can wear on their little heads, and there are 80 available costumes to unlock. 14 different costumes were cut from the game, including an anglerfish, tree, rhinoceros, dolphin, pink bird, another tree, turtle, red panda, spiky fish, crane, dragon, parrot, redfish, and whatever the hell this is. This is actually really interesting to me because I never played Ham Ham Games, but now that I know there are 80 different costumes to get, give me 14 of them right now. Also, what are we drinking today? I just have my water. I had a coffee, but then I drove for like 45 minutes and then I felt sick. So the coffee made me feel sick. So now we're just drinking water. In the first ever Hamtaro game, Totoko Hamtaro Tamadachi Daisakuzen Dechu, I'm so freaking sorry for my pronunciation. There is a handful of animations found in the game's code, but are nowhere to be seen in the final release. These were most likely left unused because many of them feature Hamtaro on a tricycle that also never appears in the game, so chances are they just scrapped them both. Regarding the anime, however, there were many changes present between all of the dubs from the original Japanese release, but we will only be talking about the English dub and the differences made for that specific release. We won't be going over every single one, just a few I found interesting, but if you are interested, I highly recommend checking out the edited and cut scenes page from the Hamtaro wiki. In episode 9, Maxwell's book cover is cut out due to it showing Momotaro, or Peach Boy, a Japanese legend that depicts a naked baby born from a peach. Why was he reading that? Like, I don't know. The next one is super interesting to me, and I was shocked that I never found it in my original Hamtaro deep dive research, but I'm sure I did, and I just skimmed right over it. A scene was cut from a 2002 episode of the English dub where Omar recounts all the places in the world he has traveled to, starting with New York City, pre-2001. Some of you may already see where this is going. The scene featured the World Trade Center, and as the English dub was produced in 2002, just 1 year after the attacks, the scene would be cut. It's crazy to see just how many cartoon episodes had to be edited out or even taken off air for the very same reasons during this time. I totally understand why, but it's just like, there were also many scenes cut most likely due to violence, which is a common theme when Japanese shows get sent to North America for dubbing. As mentioned last time, Howdy shoots at Snoozer with a realistic looking gun in a dream episode, and that was cut. In episode 61, Elderham throws a ninja throwing star at Howdy, that got cut. Howdy hits Dexter with a toy hammer, that gets cut. You get the gist. In episode 63 though, the principal character chases the hamsters down the hallway at super speed, thus creating wind around him, which in turn causes a girl student's skirt to kind of like blow up in the wind a little bit. This was cut from the dub, replaced with the principal simply just like walking down the hallway, which like, thank you, like that is a child. It's disappointing. Anyway, there were a ton more deleted and edited scenes, but most of them are due to large amounts of Japanese text on the screen. Moving on. Our final entry will be quite different from the other ones, and I just found it interesting because this lost media is not from the official Hamtaro franchise, but from a fan. A lot more recently, I've been looking into YouTube lost media. Soon, you guys will hear me talk about LPS tube videos, made by mostly children and teens that shaped an entire community but now are lost to time. These can be some of the tougher pieces of media to find because more often than not, the creator themselves takes their own videos down. Here we have a Hamtaro YouTube series from the early 2010s that is mostly lost. This post was made by the user r/rockpebbleman back in 2023 with the title Partially Lost Hamtaro, an Epic Generation YouTube series. Back around 2009 or 2010, there was a cute YouTube series called Hamtaro, an Epic Generation. It wasn't exactly popular nor well made, but it was a cute project made by a kid that was trying their best at a series. Each episode contained music taken from an anime soundtrack or pop music, and sometimes the songs sounded as if someone used a recorder of some kind to get the music. The characters were edited images of characters already made, such as an edit of an official drawing of Hamtaro. There would be horizontal scrolling text over a colored bar that was the dialogue of the character on screen. Definitely old Windows Movie Maker. I have tried looking it up on YouTube, and I have found some episodes, but they aren't in order, nor is there the whole thing. There were quite a lot of episodes, maybe 50? Looking at the videos, the original YouTuber was named Mirel Anime Manga 2 in the credits / end of the video. The uploader, I can confirm, is the same YouTuber because in the description for Hamtaro and Epic Generation 1, it says, I had to re-upload all of my Hamtaro Epic Generation ones. Some are gone and not on my computer anymore. They won't be in order either. Username is correct Kuromi51. If this is the case, I might not be able to find any of the episodes since she doesn't have her computer anymore. Problem, they only uploaded 3 episodes, episode 22, 25, and 3. The next problem is, these re-uploads were from 2011. They haven't uploaded anything else since then. There's a little bit more information after that, but I'm just gonna leave it at that because that is like the main gist. Now, I debated even adding this because I wasn't exactly sure how interested you guys would be in this incredibly niche Hamtaro YouTube series made by most likely a literal small child back in like 2009. But watching the 3 re-uploads by Kuromi41, I just thought it was so adorable and heartwarming. Also, considering there were like over 50 episodes, it's clear that so much work was put into this series. Anyway, this initial post didn't get a whole lot of attention. However, one commenter came through with some information on other YouTube accounts the creator was associated with who made similar Hamtaro content. But besides that, along with a few Wayback Machine screenshots of the initial uploads, unfortunately with no available thumbnails either, that is pretty much all the information we have that could lead us to the rest of the episodes. Although Kuromi41 had essentially tried to document and recover her works by re-uploading the series to YouTube, for whatever reason, only part 3, 22, and 25. I'm sure they're a full-grown adult now who has probably forgotten about all this, or maybe wants nothing to do with their old cringy YouTube videos. As someone who has been uploading YouTube videos for years, since the age of like 10, I understand the feeling. But on the other hand, it's a funny little time capsule to look back on, and I'm so grateful I still have most of my cringe content from back in the day that I decided the world just needed to see. But this whole thing is really cute to me, and it really is like a time capsule for that time on the internet where everyone was just posting stuff like this, and these uploads are just so cute. So I don't want to start a search for something that the actual person who made it wants nothing to do with, but we don't really know that for sure, and I just thought this was interesting and at the very least really cute. Okay, so before we end this video, I needed to show you guys this new plushie I got from Chonker. We love Chonker here on this channel. They sent me the robotic cat, Percy, who, that is my son, by the way. But this time, I got my hands on a cat bag that they were so sweet to send me to review for you guys. There's little windows on it. How cute. Oh my god, I see a cat in there. Oh my god. Look at this, you guys. What? Oh my god. First of all, so soft. It has like little backpack strings. Oh my god. But let's see the review. Let's see actually how much this stuff could hold. Actually, okay, there's a good amount of room in here. So I would say you could probably fit like the stuff you need, like your wallet, phone, keys, maybe like a lip gloss or 2, you know? This is wild. I love the colors. I decided to go for a different style because I love the Oreo vibe of Percy, but I wanted to try something different. So I ended up with this cute little brown and white one. You can wear it like a backpack, so we gotta try that out. Who, me? Oh, right. It comes with an outfit. So I put the little outfit on and you guys, it's even cuter. It is definitely realistic looking. That is a part of the Chonker brand. I honestly love it. I think it's so unique. Can you guys see it from here? So if you want your own little kitty backpack with a little outfit, I can't get over the outfit, you guys, and you want to get it for 10% off, you can use the link in my description and use the code 10CHONKER. Thank you so much, Chonker. This is so freaking cute, so realistic. So anyway, that's about it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. If you want to see any more Hamtaro content from me, what exactly would you like to see? I could talk about the epic figures more, I could do another obscure series, or anything else that you guys can come up with. I'll be looking at the comments because I love talking about this, and yeah, I will see you guys next week. Bye!